Hello my friend and welcome back. My name is Hannah and today is going to be the last video of 2022. So if you're curious about what I'm wearing on my face, what I mentioned in today's video, and what I'm doing in other pockets of the internet, I always have links in the description box down below. I'm a very small creator, so none of my links at this time were sponsored or affiliated, and I'm not copying and pasting anybody else's links. I think the only ones making money off of my links is TinyURL, which is a service that I use to shrink my links so I can fit as much information as I possibly can. But at the start of every year, my first video of the year is usually doing a look with the color of the year. And I thought that maybe this year my last video should be me doing the color of the year and kind of wrapping up what's happened to me personally in the year. So like a recap episode before like the next season starts. I've been watching a lot of different TV shows, a lot of different animes, if you couldn't already tell. But the color of 2022 is very Perry, which is a periwinkle color, which is kind of like blue, purple mixed together. So I'm actually going to be using the Aura palette because I feel like that is not just a newer palette in my collection, but I can get a very pretty periwinkle kind of color story going on. And then I will be starting the next year with the color of 2023, so that should be my video on Monday if you cared. But let's go ahead and zoom in so you can kind of see what I'm doing to my eye if you cared. I've already done my face off of camera just to keep this video fairly short, but I'm going to start with the shade No Sleep. And I'm going to use this as my base tone to kind of capture that periwinkle shade. This has kind of grown on me to be one of my favorite kind of pastel, like lilac shades. And I think it's really pretty. But we're not so much talking about product today. This is supposed to be my wrap up of 2022. And I don't know, I feel like everybody says this about every year since the dawn of time, but it seems like the year has happened really fast. And I agree with that, but then I also disagree with that. I feel like I've lived multiple lifetimes in 2022. So at the start of this year, I was working a job that I was not happy with at all. I was actually quite miserable, quite depressed. I was doing everything in my power to get out of that position. And if you haven't been with my channel since the beginning, I used to work at Disneyland, and then the pandemic happened, and then I moved away from Disneyland into the desert. So I had to find other work, and I got a job position within the school district. And I interviewed for a lot of different jobs at that time. So I was interviewing for everything and anything that could possibly take me, because my Disney job wasn't guaranteed to me. They had furloughed and laid off a lot of people, and my department was kind of on that chop and block list. So as I'm looking for work, I'm trying my best to stay positive, even though I kept getting denied job openings. And at first I didn't quite understand, and then it kind of dawned on me that the nepotism in this area is pretty high. I moved into a very small town, and if you're not familiar with small town antics, every neighbor, every woman knows every other woman, every man knows every other man, like everybody's kids are friends with each other. And I didn't grow up in this area, so for me, these were all like brand new faces. Like I didn't know anybody, no one knew me, so I was already kind of the outcast, and then even more so because I'm coming from like a larger populated area. I don't know, it was very much like a fish out of water experience. And I tried my best to not let it get to me. I don't even know where to begin. I don't want to give too many details about where I was working, but let's just say that the place that I was working, The man that was like my direct boss had his own personal enemies, but I thought he was a really good boss and he was really good to me, so I had no problems with him. But then, I don't know. It was like my workplace was like walking into Game of Thrones season 4 without seeing any of the other seasons. So I didn't know any better, and I was just there to, do my little clerical job that I had. And apparently that rubbed people the wrong way, and they didn't like it. There was a lot of ageism going on, especially like there was one meeting with like my the guy who like runs our school district. There was a meeting with him, and it was brought up that I had like toys on my desk because I have a set of like Hunter x Hunter like desk accessories. They hold like paper clips and like my pens and things like that. And they called them toys. And then when I said back, like, you guys have a bunch of like dolls and things in your office, because one woman had a whole office like dedicated to the Wizard of Oz. Like it made them look really stupid, and it was just such a dumb work experience. And so I was having a hard time at home because obviously this kind of like work environment really affected me. So when I'd come home, I'd be depressed, I'd be anxious, like it just wasn't fun across the board. And then summer hit and I was working in a different office. I was helping with the summer enrollments, which was really nice, and I was using this as a way to kind of get my foot in the door. My previous records job was only a 10-month position, and I was on like student calendar. And then I worked over the summer, did enrollment, but as I was enrolling students, I was requesting their records and trying to get like ahead of the game and be really smart. And then I kind of told myself that I wasn't going to go back to that job when the new school year started, that I just didn't care. It wasn't worth it to me. I didn't want to go back. I absolutely hated it there. And then I worked right next to the nutrition office, and I was able to meet the director of that office, and they had a position that flew. There's 2 secretaries that are in that office. There's an 8-hour and a 6-hour, and the 6-hour position was open, and I was asked if I was going to apply for that position. And I said, I don't know, I kind of don't even want to be in the school district anymore because working here has been an absolute nightmare. Like, my boss got fired from the school I was working at, and the lady that got his position was, the head, like she was the Regina George of all the old ladies that were bullying me. So I was just like, I don't want to go back. Like, I don't care to go back. I really, like, that place can fuck itself, excuse my language. And then that director of nutrition said, no, please apply. And the enrollment office had actually given a positive word for me and said you should take her, because I had already been open with that office about how I'm not coming back. If they couldn't offer me a full-time position, like to stay, even if it was a part-time gig, but if they couldn't offer me to stay, I was just going to leave the school district altogether because I didn't want to be there. I didn't care anymore. I absolutely hated it, and I was looking out for my mental health. And so I applied for the 6-hour position, and I got it. And so when August started this year, it was kind of funny because I had interviewed for the position and I had to wait to hear the results. So I worked at the school I was doing records at for 2 days tops, and then I got the position and I got to leave, and it was really awesome. They didn't have a going away party, and they wouldn't let me, have a going away party there. So that was also kind of shitty, but I mean, I kind of expected that, to be honest. And I don't know, it was really nice to start this new position because I felt a little bit of nepotism because, that department put in such a good, the enrollment department put in such a good word for me. But then, I don't know, it just felt really good to be like recognized and kind of get saved from that position altogether. So that's what I've been doing as far as work-wise. And then as we're talking right now, my coworker who was the 8-hour position, she's actually moving into another department, so her position is open. And as I'm filming this, I haven't interviewed for that position yet, but that should be happening the week that this video is going live. So probably as you're watching this, I'm interviewing for it, but as I'm filming it, I haven't, if that makes sense. And I don't know, it just feels like the universe kind of gives me exactly what I want, because I had to change my memory card, so there should be a little bit of a jump. But as I was saying, I think that the universe has been looking out for me. I feel like anything that I've kind of asked for this year, I've gotten in some capacity. So I want to make more money. I would like to save more money because I would like to own a house and not rent a house anymore. And with this 8-hour position opening up, because I felt like my coworker was going to stay. She loved the position, and I mean, again, if you haven't watched my channel before, me and this particular coworker, not that we've had beef, but we're the exact same position, but I think in her head she thought she was like the number 1 and I was the number 2, if that makes sense, because she was the 8-hour position. And I don't know, it's just kind of silly, that whole situation itself. But I felt like she was gonna stay, especially because her husband works in our department. But because her husband works in our department, she's like, I have no room for growth, and that's what she wants to do. So I said, okay, best of luck. And so I don't know, I really thought she was gonna stay, and at least for like a while, you know, like a few years. So it's kind of interesting that she's not staying, and the position has now been kind of open to me. And I feel fairly confident about it. Like, my boss has talked to me about it and asked if I would be applying and if I was interested in applying. And I told her, like, absolutely, like, it would be stupid of me to not apply, even though my 6-hour position is pretty cool. It's an 11th month position, but taking over the 8-hour position, it is a 12-month position, so at least it's like consistent work, which is really nice. I don't know, like I said, it would just be stupid to not take it, especially in like the economic state of the world. Like, get that back, girl. And I just feel very thankful work-wise, you know, especially after having, I feel like 2021 was a really hard year for me, especially because like I got that job in August, so I didn't even get it until like the year was almost done, like halfway through the year. And then it was absolutely miserable from start to end. And 2022, you know, like those final few months of from January to June, it was really hard. But then when I didn't have to report back, you know, to that school site, and I was just working at summer enrollment, I felt like my content over the summer got better because I was in a better headspace and I just felt better, you know, and I was really trying to do what I can to get out of there and stay positive and work on, you know, my mental health and how I kind of take in information and organize and compartmentalize, I guess, information. So it was just really nice to kind of get that break. And so I'm excited to see what 2023 brings, because I want to bring the same energy that I have now and the same kind of habits I have, but improve them. I just feel like I can finally, I don't know, get past like past traumas and like do what's really good for myself. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below if you kind of understand what I'm saying. I just feel like I'm on a good stride, and I want to keep that stride and kind of make that like my base, like my starting point, if you will. I am going to go in with an eyeliner, so if you don't like watching things be in eyes, caution. I'm going to try my best to not show you though, because I hate seeing it in editing. Like, it kind of grosses me out. I did my eyeliner and mascara, and I hate filming that section because it's hard for me to talk and have something close to my eye, but I also hate seeing it in editing. It, like, I don't know, I just get really weird about like things really close to my eye in that capacity. But I'm pretty much done with this look. I am going to go in with a inner corner highlight real quick. This isn't like typically the kind of look I go for, but I mean, when I zoom out, we can talk about it. Oh my gosh. Wow, okay. But I'm excited to see what this new year brings, because I feel that 2022 was actually a really positive experience for me, when, like I said, previous years, not so much. I keep adding things to this look because, okay, so let's zoom out and wrap up the video. And this is my very Perry look for the end of the year. How does it compare to last year? I will have a link to that video down below. Because all of the purple shades in the Aura palette are like of a metallic shade, I didn't know how well this was gonna go, but I actually kind of love it. I think this was what the Ultraviolet palette from Urban Decay was trying to be, but the execution in the Aura palette, am I gonna have to add to my declutters? I might. But to wrap up 2022, like I said many times in this video, I felt like it could have gone really sour, but I feel like it worked out in my favor. The universe may not have handed things to me in the way that I wanted it to, but I still got the things that I wanted. So with that, I think moving forward, I'm going to try my best to do my best, because I think in the end, it always works out for me as long as I put the effort in. And I'm really excited to see the growth in my channel next year. I feel like I've had a lot of growth this year. I've learned so many things from, you know, setting levels and lighting and making content, editing content, what editing software to use, what not to use, kind of what brands of makeup I like and what I don't like. And I don't know, I got to meet so many great different viewers who are constantly like in my tweets and my DMs, and it's really fun to talk to you guys, even if it's not about makeup. Actually, a lot of you kind of reach out to me about video games, and it's sweet because you guys think that I'm a gamer, and I'm really not. But I don't know, I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions down below. What was 2022 like for you? What was maybe a really big achievement that you had? What was maybe something that you thought was going to be a letdown but actually worked out in your favor? I don't know, this time of year is always really weird too, between like Christmas and New Year's, because like it's the limbo time in between. There's like a few days left. It's not quite the New Year's yet. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with the upcoming year, and I don't know, I feel really positive about it. So when I do my look for 2023, I will also be doing the Mel Thompson tag as well for like New Year's resolutions for the channels and things like that. That should be coming up. I don't know, I plan on doing 5 videos a week in 2023. And I don't know, I feel really positive. So I would like to share that with you guys. I don't know, or like, I hope my positivity is contagious in that way. But let me know what you're thinking down below. And if you liked hanging out with me today and you would like to see more and you would like to join me on the journey that will be 2023, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.